So Emmanuel Pellegrini is coming up and saying that it's bad luck that Manchester City are struggling at the moment, and I just don't think it's bad luck. I think it's bad defending and bad defender choices. So we're going to look at their game against Swansea, who are in form. All credit to them. It'll be an interesting game. Let's talk tactics. So let's just look at how both teams face up head to head when they come up against each other. Very similar, which is amazing if you were coming into the Premier League at the start and you're being told that Swansea are going to be very similar in goals conceded to Manchester City. You'd be scratching your eyes. So Manchester City 12 goals, Swansea conceded 1 less than them. Amazing from them. They're doing very well and they're very well organised, which is a big thing. So Manchester City concede first a lot, as you see, 4 times compared to Swansea's 2, which will be interesting if Swansea can go in there and try and get a goal. But they are good at coming back, as they proved against Arsenal with their 2-1 victory. Goals conceded inside the box. 12 of Manchester City's goals come from inside the box. What does that tell you about their team's defending? I will talk about it in a little bit more in detail. Let's go on to the next one and look at it in general. As you're seeing, no goals from either team conceded outside the box, which is kind of interesting, but it's not as much for Swansea. I mean, Manchester City, you'd expect more teams to have shots outside the box because their defence was so good last year, but no one. They're fearless now. They go in there and they're going to try and hit Joe Hart inside the 18. So let's firstly talk about Manchester City. It is not as much the formation they're playing. I don't think you can do much. It's the way they're being told to defend. I said it way back against Bayern Munich. They come all the way back to their 18. And you know why? Because right now, Fernandinho and Yaya Toure are taking it upon themselves to dive in anywhere they want. This is why Yaya Toure is getting sent off. This is why Fernandinho is getting sent off, because they're not timing their tackles. And their goals against QPR were embarrassing against a team that's crawling at the bottom of the league. Yaya Toure and Fernandinho, they played this formation against QPR, which is a 4-2-3-1, very popular, but it's only popular if both of these guys are playing as holding midfielders. Yaya Toure found himself diving in this area, trying to win the ball. Fernandinho came across, dove right in and lost the ball. So then what happened is they got down the line, they whipped a cross in, and Demichelis turned it into the back of his own net. But that's an issue that could be defended. They're giving teams too much respect, especially QPR. Come on, Pellegrini, you can't blame that on bad luck. Mangala and Demichelis are strangers in there. Mangala, if he's worth that amount of money, then Jason Rubin is worth £3 million or dollars in football, because this guy is not worth whatever they paid for him. I think it was 24 or even 30, I don't know. But there's no way. He's got the attributes. He's strong and he's fast. He has no defensive brain on him for the Premier League. Dives in everywhere. And then what happens in their goal that I need to point out, QPR get the ball in this area. Manchester City have playing against a team that have nowhere near his qualities, and they get it in this, they put it inside, and Manchester City step up all just outside their own D at one point. It's just a simple ball through, because if you're playing an offside trap that close to your own goals, there is 18 yards between that player and the goal. Do you know how quick a professional football player can put the ball in the back of the net in 18 yards? Very quick. So if you give him that space, it's going to be so easy. If you play the offside trap, unless you're on point, precise, like Chelsea are, if they're going to drop together or they're going to step together, Manchester City are not on that page, and that's why they conceded goals against QPR, and that's why they need Vincent Kompany back, because it's the personnel and it's the way they're defending with each other. So I can go on about that. That's where Swansea are going to get goals. If they play in the final third and they get the ball in the box to the likes of Bonnie, who's very good in there, it's going to be hard to defend. So I'm going to talk about Manchester City's team that I would play. This 4-3-2-1 does not work for Manchester City. So if you're going to play this, Fernandinho, I'm not a fan of him, but he's going to stick with him. I think you should maybe even, if Lampard's fit, try it with a 4-4-2 with Lampard back in there. David Silva's fit. You've got to utilise your best players. Aguero right now is doing a very good job up there on his own, but Jovetic has showed against Sweden that he's very useful at picking the ball up in these areas and drawing players in so that he can play these passes in behind. And you just need to either play it like this. Put Yaya Toure, if you like him going forward, put him in as a number 8 in there, and have Fernandinho, if you must, persevere with him. Do not move from that area and do not dive in. The first time I seen that guy go on the ground, if I was Pellegrini, I'd be whipping him off and sending him up the road with a hot dog, because there's no way he should be doing that as a professional football player in the Premier League. So I'd play it in there. Aguero, you partner him with Jovetic, who seems to be in form, got a goal against Sweden, and basically utilise Aguero. Don't have him hold it up as much on his own up there. He is good at doing it, but he's so much more effective when you have him doing his own thing and picking the ball up in the box. That's what Manchester City have to do to beat Swansea. Go back to your 4-4-2, go back to what works, Pellegrini, and don't blame it on bad luck. Swansea, on the other hand, are a different matter. If you look at their formation, they as well play this 4-3-2-1. If you look at Swansea's formation here, 4-2-3-1, and you've got guys like Sigurdsson who can find anything in that corner of the goals at any point. His free kick against Arsenal, my God, it was sublime. So But what they do well is they get it wide. Montero is an absolute tenacious winger, and he is so frustrating to play against. And if you get him wide against Manchester City, up against the guys like Sagna and Clichy, who are given 2 or 3 yards per player, they're giving them 2 or 3 yards like against their opponent to whip across in the box. And when your defence is not on the same page, it's just calling out for goals. I do think that Manchester City will pull this one out the bag. They need to, or else it's going to be severe question marks about Pellegrini. But I think if Swansea have got any hope, get it in the box to Koki in there. If you've got Swansea in there, get it in the box to the likes of Boney in there, and get it in the likes to Gomez to get him in the back of the net, because those guys are strong and they win headers. And as we've seen against QPR, Demichelis and Mangala are not good at defending, especially with strikers streaming in between both of them. If Kompany makes it back, it could be a different story. I think it's going to rely a lot on the way Manchester City defend. I predict a 1-0 win for Manchester City here. It will be a hard-fought game. If Swansea get an early goal, it could go either way. If you're watching after the game, let me know what you thought of my tactical analysis here and whether I was right. If not, just comment in the section below. Follow us on Twitter. Tweet us at TYT Sports and me at Francis_Maxwell. Treat me during the game, because I want to know your thoughts on what's going on and who you predict to win this game. Thanks again for watching.